Hello there, don't mind me, I'm just, I had some weird mushrooms and yeah, look at this. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use post-process volumes and post-process materials. And at the end, you're going to have something like this, which is extremely weird. If you don't feel like puking now, I don't know. And actually, let me show you in the game as well what we are going to have. So look at this. Look how it looks in game. So it's still loading the grass, but anyway, it's so trippy. So, are you excited for this tutorial? If so, please smash the like button. And if you enjoyed this video and learned something and want to like support my channel, please subscribe as well. But yeah, let's get into creating some post-process. So what is a post-process volume? A post-process volume is basically a cube, a volume that when entered it applies post-process effects. These are effects that you can find in Photoshop, some of them, and it actually applies them to your game. So in this level that I have here, I have already pasted a post-process volume, and I have settings and I have set it up. So let's just if you scroll down, just disable this post-process volume. You can see my game looks a lot different, more different from just now. So if we enable it, my game looks like that, and if we disable it, my game looks a lot worse, or rather not my game but my level. So this is how important the post-process volumes are. You can do a lot of things with it. So let's add another volume. So if you go here on quickly add to this project, and if we go to volumes, and you just need to find the post-process volume, which is here. So let's add our post-process volume, and if you're in game mode, press G to see all the elements, and this cube here is our volume. So let's say we want this volume here, and currently it's not infinite extent, or rather it's not unbound, so you will only experience the effects of this post-process when you are inside the volume. So currently we don't have anything set up in the volume, but for example, if I go up in lens, in bloom, if I for example set the intensity to, I don't know, maximum intensity, and if I enter, you see there is a change in my bloom. Now it's pretty sudden, and it's pretty like instant the moment, kinda. There is some smoothing, but not that much. So to control the smoothing, you can control it with blend radius. So if you scroll down and go to post-process volume settings, or type in the search box blend radius, you will see this blend radius. So let's increase it like this, and you see I haven't moved my camera, but we already experienced the effects, because even if we're outside the cube, we still experience the effects because of the blend radius. And now we have a lot smoother transition, and we can do it even more. We can do like 10,000, and now it's really subtle. You need to go like far away, and then when you close down close to the center, it's getting stronger. So let's bring it to 100, and yeah, it's a lot faster, the transition. And yeah, let's say if you see here we have this priority, right? So what happens if we have a volume inside a volume, and in our second volume we are going to remove the bloom? And what happens if we go inside and we go to the second volume, like they overlap here? So here where they're overlapping, we still have the bloom. So why is that? So we can actually set the priority. So if we set it to if both are 0, for example, and I set our first volume to have a priority of 1, and or rather, let's say 100, or no, let's say 0, and the second one will be, sorry, let me select the second one and scroll down and find the priority, and let's see what it says. So priority of this volume, in the case of overlapping volumes, the one with the highest priority overrides the lower priority. So if I say I have priority 10, it should override the other one. So let me see. Did I have my intensity? Okay, so yeah, let's decrease the intensity to 0. So you see, I'm inside both of them. They are overlapping on each other, but the one with the 0 intensity, the second one, is actually it's actually taking priority, so we're using that one. So if I say it's 0, or rather -1, you will have the other one which has a priority of 0 being in effect. So you see, we have 0, and in the second one we have -1. So if they're 0, they will kind of fight. You shouldn't place priority at the same number. The one that is placed last in the level will take the priority if they are the same. So let's delete this one, the second one, and keep the one with the first one with the blue. So what other options do we have in the post-process? Well, there are quite extensive, a lot of options you have here. You have a depth of field, you can play with the depth of field. You have the exposure, which will change the exposure, but if you see, if I change this number, I change the exposure. However, I am not going to mess with this. You have chromatic aberration, for example. This is an interesting effect. You see, it's exactly as what you would think it would do. And we have dirt mask, cameras, local exposure, lens flare. You can enable lens flare, so pretty interesting stuff here. Image effects. So in the image effects you can apply vignetting, so you can have some cinematic video, or you can make your game a bit more cinematic with vignetting. So depth of field again. So you have the color grading. Again, these are things that you kind of have in Photoshop as well. You see, you can make your scene a bit cooler or a bit hotter, like a very hot day. So also you can do a lot of things like with blueprint. You can take this one and make it like a lot hotter during sunrises, or like you have these epic colors here, but we don't need it for now. And again, you have these settings for manipulating the image. So let's disable everything. Global illuminations. Global illumination, and you can use lumen. And again, we probably don't see anything because we already have some of the settings in here. You have, of course, screen space reflections and ray tracing, ambient occlusion. You can increase the ambient occlusion from here. Motion blur, if you have some cinematic with motion blur or cars or something like that, you can make it a lot cooler. And this is for the basic settings of the post-process volume. However, there is something that you can do with post-process volumes which is really cool. You can actually add post-process materials, and you can create your materials and your effects this way. So if you type material here and go to post-process material, you see in this array you can add multiple materials. So in this array, if you press the plus icon, add element, and now here you can choose an asset like from here. So if you create a post-process material, you can choose from here, and you can have you can use it. So let's create a post-process material so I can show you what I mean. So let's create the material. I created a folder called post-process, and right click in this folder and name the material m_post-process and enter the material. Select the material and change the material domain to post-process. And now we're going to create a folk material. If you have ever been interested in post-process material, you probably have already seen how to do this. But let's do this for the people who haven't. So we need a scene texture, and from the scene texture now we are going to be lerping the scene. First we are going to lerp the scene texture, next we are going to lerp the color, and this will be the color of the folk, and let's make it like blue for default. So the scene texture is basically sorry, what you see in your scene. And then we are going to lerp it by depth fade. This will basically give us the distance from the camera to we can create a radius around us in which the scene color will be 100% true, and it will have actually fade distance, so it will be smooth. So let's create this. We'll call it opacity, and we probably don't need to make a parameter, but to make a parameter just hold S and click and name it fade distance, and we'll have 200 here. Sorry, not in the name but in the default value. Make sure it is not 200, sorry, 1000. So let's connect it like this, apply, and actually connect to emissive and then apply. And now here we are going to get an error that the domain, like the error that we're getting is material domain surface. So what it's saying, yeah, I forgot to do post-process input 0. So now the other thing that we are experiencing trouble with is that the scene texture is actually of different type from our color. So let's do a color 4. So hold 4 and press in here, so like this, hold 4 and press left mouse button, and we can summon this color here. And Now here we are going to put it to boom, and if we apply, now you see no errors. This was because this is 4 integers, and this is not integers, sorry, so 4 float numbers here, and this was 4 float numbers here, while the other cover was 3, and we couldn't do it. So now that we have the material, we can actually place it in our post-process volume, and as you see, everything became blue when we're in here. Very interesting, and we're having this weird effect. So let's tackle this effect actually. Let's do infinite unbound, and this doesn't do it. Now it's everywhere. Pretty interesting. This was not happening in Unreal 4, to be honest. So let's set priority to 1, and it doesn't do anything as well. So what I just found out, what I did was move it to my other monitor, and on my other monitor actually didn't have this issue here, and that's very curious, because here it's as if it's taking just this resolution, like you see here is working perfectly fine in this window, but in this part it's not, and my other monitor is full HD while this one is 4K. So that's a very curious thing. So let's try to fix it. So yeah, this is most likely not gonna happen for you. However, if it does happen, the fix is if you go to your material, scroll down to process material, and here in the blendable location type before tone mapping. So this option will change the color of your fog. So you need to modify the color that you already did to kind of be a bit less intense, and you may need to modify the overall color and play with it a bit. But other than that, yeah, this is the way to fix it for now. And as you see, we have this dense fog. We can decrease the opacity, for example 0.5, and we have this fog here. So if I immerse my window, we have this fog. And again, if I go out, select the volume and change the infinite extent, now I have a fog here, and I can change this to 1000, and it's still like the fog material is pretty sudden actually. To do that, maybe we need to do a bit more yeah, this is not actually something that you can really do just with the material. So let's change this to 10,000, and let's test it while we play. PC is actually freezing a bit, not sure why. So if I go into the volume, oh my god, it's lagging a lot. Something is probably because I'm recording. Yeah, I'm recording on 4K and my computer is not holding well. So yeah, this is what you can do with the post-process material. There is also another cool thing I want to show you. You can do with post-process material. The possibilities are boundless. I mean, there are a lot of things you can do. So let's create, or rather, we can actually do it in this post-process material. What we need is just, maybe this will be interesting. How about we do it in the fog? Okay, so what we will need for this one is a scene position. Scene sample scene, maybe scene depth. No, we need a scene position. I'm not sure. This is it, but very weird. Screen position, not scene, sorry, screen position. So we need this one. So you see, and then we're going to put this in the UVs. So let's type add, put this in the UVs. And we're going to add this with a lerp. We're going to lerp between two values. So not hide lerp. Press and hold L and press sorry, left mouse button, and then create this. So we're going to lerp between 0 and another one, 0.1, 0.1. These are the values that we are going to learn between, and we are going to add them to the screen position. And next, for the actual sorry, for the actual mask that is going to mask this, we are going to use something called radio gradient, and actually no, this is exponential gradient. We need a just a radio gradient. Well, this should work as well. And then for the radius, we're going to put 0.5, and for the position, center position, we're going to put let's do 0.5 and 0.5 and 0.5. To summon this, guys, again hold 2 and press like this. You see, you can spam it. So connect this here, and as you can see, we're having some distortion. This is what we're going to do. So let's press save. And now if we go here, we not only have the fog, we actually have this cool trippy effect that you can create. So there's a lot of stuff you can create with post-process material, and we can sometimes I can create a tutorial about some other effects, like a custom effect that I create or something. So yeah, this is for post-process materials and post-process volumes.